Guess who's Sack? Sack again. Sackboy's back. Tell a friend.
That's right, our fluffy little Sackboy is back in what appears to be a 3D platforming spin-off from the LittleBigPlanet series. I won't talk too much about the trailer, as I'm sure you've all seen it by now, but it appears that the game is focused on the play side of the famous play, create, share moniker that we usually expect from LBP. It like expands on the amount of power-ups, and it gives Sackboy new movements like the hover jump and the ability to beat up the local wildlife. I mean monsters, or whatever they are. I'll split this video into a few different sections, as I feel we have a fair amount to talk about here. I'll start with my initial thoughts as I was watching the trailer for the first time. As with pretty much all of us, I realised it was LPP pretty much straight away and instantly got hyped. I obnoxiously tweeted out that I was right about there being a LittleBigPlanet game, even though I actually predicted LittleBigPlanet 4 rather than a standalone Sackboy game. Mistakes were made, but I was pretty much right? In any case, I was hyped. I was shouting out, he's back, like like Harry Potter in the Goblet of Fire.
He's back! He's back!
However, as the trailer went on, I was hoping for create mode to pop up. So I was a bit disappointed when we got to the end and it looked like it was just a platformer, which it might not be. It might have a create mode, but it does look like it's just a platformer, which brings me on to the next section. Does it make sense for the series to change in this direction? Well, for starters, as a financial decision, it absolutely makes sense for Sony. Sackboy is one of the biggest mascots for PlayStation, so he needed to make it onto the PS5 somehow. The tricky part for PlayStation was how. They could bring a game with create mode onto PS5, but if they do that too early, it could clash with Dreams, and that could be a risky move. Bearing in mind, Dreams have been in development for like 9 years at this point. It was a bit of a risk. So a LittleBigPlanet without a create mode, could it work? Well, I know for a fact that the huge majority of LittleBigPlanet players were exactly that. They were players, not creators. This means it wouldn't be unreasonable to expect a purely play-based game to work. If they happen to keep LittleBigPlanet being a cash cow by easily adding new costumes to PlayStation Store regularly, that's an even bigger bonus for Sony. There's like no ongoing moderation, there's less worries about there being game-breaking glitches discovered in create mode, and the list kind of just keeps going on for the positives from Sony point of view. Obviously the negative is that long-running fans of LittleBigPlanet might not be happy as a create mode, but obviously, as I said, with the majority being players, it kind of makes sense for them. And they even distanced it from the main LittleBigPlanet series by naming it Sackboy: A Big Adventure, which is a name I don't particularly like, because A Big Adventure sounds kind of weird. Like, even if it was just Sackboy's Big Adventure, or Sackboy's Wild Journey, or Sackboy, but whatever. A big adventure just sounds a bit generic to me, but it kind of just proves the point that they're saying this is a game to play. It's just an adventure. Play it. just like it. It also shows intent for like more Sackboy games in the future. Because obviously there hasn't been a game. Well, there was Run Sackboy Run and Sackboy's Prehistoric Moves, if you want to include those. But there hasn't been like a main LittleBigPlanet game where it's just called Sackboy. So kind of bringing Sackboy as like a household name to the front like that is probably a good idea. It's like with Mario. They're making the Mario of PlayStation. We could end up with Sackboy being the star of many different types of games if it goes like this. So like Mario started off as a side-scrolling adventure, and it's had like so many well-received spin-offs, if that's what you want to call them, in like different genres. So it's got like the 3D platforming, it's got party games, it's got racing games, it's got weird little time trials like WarioWare, and I mean it's even got stuff like Luigi's Mansion. There's just so many different types of game that Mario has gone into, what's to say Sackboy couldn't do these? I mean, he's already done racing with LittleBigPlanet karting, so who knows? Maybe we will see Sackboy everything. Sackboy Odyssey. There's so many possibilities for our little guy. So to wrap this section up, I think it's a good move from PlayStation. LBP, but with a more advanced create mode, could easily stumble into Dreams territory, and most people just want to play anyway. I know this isn't the case for a lot of hardcore community people on Twitter, but that's not really the aim for this game. It's mass appeal with a focus on being family friendly, fun and multiplayer. That seems to have been the brief for this game, and by the looks of it, they've done it. To end this video, I'll talk about the future of LittleBigPlanet in terms of an actual LBP main series game rather than spin-offs, as I think that's what a lot of the community are actually hoping for. As I've said a couple of times now, a more advanced create mode probably isn't the right route for an LBP game, as it can easily become quite complicated. Especially, you know, if you have all of the tools from LittleBigPlanet 3, are you going to take stuff away as you advance the series? No, you're going to have to add more, so yeah, it could become too much. And obviously it could be moving into Dreams territory at that point, especially if it's in a 3D style instead of sticking to layers like it's been in the previous games. One thing that could potentially work, appeasing players and creators, is making a LittleBigPlanet collection. 1, 2 and 3 on the same disc or download, with whatever features are relevant from the Vita 2. I think that could work. Like one big stable game, all the story modes, bugs squished, 4K or upscaled or as good as we can get it, whatever. All of the community levels playable and hopefully not bugged or whatever. Like I don't know how easy that could be to do, but it would take a lot of pressure off of game designers. Like the levels are all done already, and obviously we then wouldn't lose the millions of levels that people have made before. Obviously they're not lost, you can go back onto the previous games and play them, but it would be nice to see like a resurgence of them on PS5. I don't know if like story levels might have to be created again for, well, this could be the issue. It could be all levels might have to be created again if they make a new or modified engine for PS5. That could be the problem. Kind of all the old levels holding it back because they can't keep them if they make a new engine. I don't know if that's the case, but in any case, a bulk of the design, at least in terms of story levels, would be sorted. I don't know, I think it could work, but obviously I have no coding experience, I have no idea on the architecture of any of the consoles that the games are made for. I don't know if it works, but I like the idea. And then maybe after a few years, once Dreams, I mean, obviously it'd be nice for Dreams to just keep evolving and do really well throughout the whole life of the PS5, but obviously we don't know if it's going to do that yet. There might be room for a LittleBigPlanet 4 in the user-generated content space. There might be room alongside Dreams. I don't know, I'd be very happy to see it, but I honestly have no idea what they could do for it. Community, this is what you can help me. Community, what would you do? How would you make a LittleBigPlanet 4? Would you want a remastered trilogy that I mentioned? Do you like the idea of having loads of Sackboy spin-offs? Let me know your thoughts. What do you think of this game? What do you think of Sackboy: A Big Adventure? Do you like it? I look forward to hearing from you. It's been a little while. Hopefully I'll be seeing you soon. See ya.